In this video, I'll be doing Khan Academy's SAT Math Practice, Unit 3, Problem Solving and Data Analysis Foundations. This is the unit practice test, so let's get started. During randomized human trials for the chemical compound G23 Pexylon hydrocalorate, 0.1% of the trial participants exhibited unpleasant side effects. Okay, at this rate, if a population of 5,200,000 is exposed to this compound, how many people would be expected to exhibit similar side effects? Okay, so it's telling us that 0.1% of the trial exhibited that side effect. And they're telling us that 5,200,000 is at that trial. So then we just have to do 0.1% of 5,200,000. That number times 0.001. That's 0.1%, and so that's 5,200 people expecting to receive that side effect. Okay, does ketchup belong on hot dogs? What do you guys think?
Bruh.
Bill asked 50 Chicagoans and 50 non-Chicagoans the question, does ketchup belong on a hot dog? The table summarizes the responses. How many Chicagoans responded yes? So let's see here. Chicagoans, 2 people responded yes. So I think that's all we do, really. We're not looking for non-Chicagoans. How many Chicagoans responded yes? Yeah, it's just 2 people right here. Nice. Okay, Alex spent $37 on groceries last week. If $30 of that amount was spent on fruits and vegetables, what is the ratio of the money Alex spent on fruits and vegetables to the total amount he spent on groceries last week? So, okay, so we just have to set up the ratio. So the amount of fruits and vegetables is first, which we're told he spent $30 on fruits and vegetables, and then it is to fruits and vegetables to the total amount he spent on groceries last week, and so it's 30 to 37. Nice. Okay, so we have a scatter plot here. The scatter plot and trend line describes the relationship between the average rent for a 1-bedroom apartment in New York and the number of years after the year 2000. Assuming the line correctly shows the trend in data, what does it mean that the line's y-intercept is 800? So the y-axis is average rent and the x-axis is years after 2000. So, like, for example, I guess 2001, the average rent was around like $850. And so it's asking us what is the y-intercept. So it must be that, so right here, this number right here, that the average rent started at 800 at the year 2000. So A says the average rent for a 1-bedroom apartment in New York is approximately $800. That is wrong because let's say for 2011, it was at like $1,300, so not every year was $800, so that's wrong. On average, the rent of a 1-bedroom apartment in New York increases by $800 each year. So the y-intercept of 800 is not what it's showing, and by the scatter plot, you can tell it does not increase by 800 each year. Because 800 plus 800 would be 1,600. 1,600, that's not even on the graph. So B is wrong. The model indicates that the 1-bedroom apartment in New York had an average rent of approximately $800 in 2010. So if we look at 2010, 10 years after, it was approximately $1,200. So that's wrong. And plus 2010 is not where the chart even starts. It starts at 2000, 0 years after 2000. And so it should be D. Nice. If the price of a 7-pound bag of dried black beans is $9.80, which of the following statements is true? So 7-pound bag is $9.80. Okay. The price of dried black beans is $1. So let's see. Okay, so each answer choice is about the price per pound. So let's find that out ourselves. So 7 pounds is $9.80. So all we have to do is divide. And we would be able to find the amount of a 1-pound bag of dried black beans. So 9.80 divided by 7 is going to give us 1.4. So the price of the dried black beans is $1.40 per pound. A baker at a successful bakery makes 3 types of cupcakes: vanilla, red velvet, and double chocolate. On Wednesday, he made 18 vanilla cupcakes, which was 17% of the total amount of cupcakes he made. So they only gave us info about vanilla cupcakes on that day. So how many total cupcakes did the baker make on Wednesday? So let's underline all the info we have. We know he makes 3 kinds of cupcakes. And on Wednesday, he made 18 vanilla cupcakes, which is only 17% of the total amount he made. Sorry if my highlighting is kind of bad. And so we just want to know how many total cupcakes he made on Wednesday. Honestly, in my opinion, the fastest way to do is just use the calculator and check 17% of each number and see which one is 18. Because the SAT Math, I think it's just like, you gotta go quick. And you have decimals on every single question, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's start at the bottom, because why not? So 106 times 0.17 is 18. Okay, so it's 106. That's the answer. If we're doing the SAT, I don't think you need to check the other answers, but we might as well. 94 times 0.17 is going to give us 15 cupcakes. 16, actually, if you round it. But technically, you can't really make a fraction of a cupcake, so it's 15, I guess. And then 54 times 0.17 is only 9 times 0.17. It's equal to 5, almost 6. So, yeah, 106 is our answer. Okay. The number of telephone lines in each country in Central America and the Caribbean is shown in a dot plot. The number of telephone lines in each country has been rounded to the nearest 250,000. According to the dot plot, what is the median number of telephones in thousands? Okay, so we're trying to find the median of all of this. So looking at the dot plot, we see that we have 2 datas, though, the number of countries and the number of telephone lines. But if we look back to the question, it says the median number of telephone lines. So we're going to be looking at the x-axis, not the y. So there's 16 zeros, 5, 250, so that's 21 total. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. So there's 28. And so basically, so the middle of 28, if we're thinking about a number line, it's like 1 to 28, because I don't want to take too much time here. The middle should be 14. And so if we count this, 14 is going to be 0. So it should be 0. Okay, a school district wants to conduct a sample survey to determine the average number of sports played by high school seniors in a district. So which of the following survey methods is most likely to produce valid results? I was about to say research. Okay. So they want to determine the average, determine the average number of sports played by high school seniors in a district. So let's read the answer choices. A district surveys 500 randomly selected high school seniors in a district who play baseball. This is telling us they want to determine all sports, I think. Yeah, it just says number of sports played by high school seniors. So if you're surveying people who only play a certain sport, that's not valid, so that's wrong. Let's read B. The district surveys every 10th student to enter the football stadium at the district championship game. Maybe we'll keep that based on the other two. But it's less likely to be this answer, because what if like only 20 people show up to the game? But it's probably not the answer. C. The district surveys 500 randomly selected high school seniors in a district. That seems pretty valid to me. This C might be correct. And then D. The district selects one high school in the district and surveys all of the students. Yeah, that's not going to be valid, because it wants to determine the entire school district and not just one high school. So it's going to be C. So it's not B and it's not D. So C. Okay. A newborn calf weighs 40 kilograms. Each week its weight increases by 5%. So, okay. Let W be the weight in kilograms of the calf after T weeks. Which of the following best explains the relationship between T and W? Okay, so it's telling us that W is the weight in kilograms of the calf, and then T is a number of weeks. So W will depend on T. So let's read these answer choices. A, the relationship is linear because W increases by a factor of 5% each time. T increases by 1. So I think we can already cross out A because it says it's linear. It's clearly not linear because it says each week its weight increases by 5%. It increases by a percentage based on a different number each week. Basically, because weight changes each week. It doesn't say like it increases by 5 each week, which would be linear because it's a constant change. So we can also cross out D because it says linear. So it's either B or C. So let's read that. B says the relationship is exponential because W increases by a factor of 1.05 each time T increases by 1. That is correct because 1.5 is the equivalent of saying increases by 5% because it's basically the same thing as multiplying 0.05. If we take away that 1, and then you add the original number to what you got. So but multiplying 1.05 is going to give you the sum of the initial weight and the amount of weight it got over that 1 week period. I mean, I can show it in the calculator basically. So let's say 50 times 0.05, 5%. You're trying to find the weight, and so you would have to add 50 plus 2.5. That's the weight of 1 week. So 1 week from being 50, it would be 52.5. But instead, we can just do 50 times 1.05, and that's already going to give us 52.5, and we don't have to do that extra step. So it's the same thing. And T increases by 1. So B looks like it's going to be the correct answer. Let's read C. The relationship is exponential because W increases by a factor of 5 each time T increases by 1. That's incorrect because it does not increase by 5 each time. It can increase by 5 one of the times, but it depends on the weight, the number times 5%. So, and plus, if it increases by 5 each time, that would be linear. So the answer is B. Hal's hostel has 25 rooms. The histogram shows the distribution of the number of guests in the room. How many hostel rooms have 12 to 15 guests? Okay, so if we look at the histogram here, all we have to look for is how many hostel rooms have 12 to 15 guests. So 12 to 15 guests here. Here is 12 to 15 guests right here. And so we're trying to look at this bar right here and trying to find the number of hostel rooms. So how many hostel rooms have 12 to 15 guests? And that's going to be 6. So that's our answer. 6. And so that was Unit 3. And hopefully this video helped. And good luck and thank you for watching.